Absolute Virtue will pop as soon as the Jailer of Love has been killed. In order to pop the Jailer of Love, we need 3 items. They are the 4th, the 5th and the 6th virtues. In order to get the 5th virtue, we first need to kill the Jailer of Hope. To do this, we need 3 items. The first of these items is an high quality two-way organ. The second of these items is a deed of placidity. And the final item is a first virtue. In order to get the high quality two-way organ, all we need to do is to kill the two-way mobs. In order to get the deed of placidity, we first need to kill a notorious monster called 9 Monk. To kill this monster, we need to pop it using 3 high quality Aeon organs. In order to obtain the first virtue, we need to kill the Jailer of Temperance. This is a lottery pop from the Eozidais. In order to get the 4th virtue, we first need to pop and kill the Jailer of Justice. In order to pop the Jailer of Justice, we need 3 items. These items are an high quality Zomit organ, a deed of moderation, and the second virtue. In order to get the high quality Zomit organ, all we need to do is kill the Zomit mobs. In order to get the deed of moderation, we need to pop and kill a notorious monster known as 9 DRK. In order to pop the notorious monster 9 DRK, we first need to become enveloped in sheer animosity. We do this by killing all Aeons. In order to obtain the second virtue, we need to pop and kill the Jailer of Fortitude. To pop the Jailer of Fortitude, we need to farm 12 Gra-M chips. In order to get the 6th virtue, we need to pop and kill the Jailer of Prudence. In order to pop the Jailer of Prudence, we need 3 items. These items are an high quality HPM organ, a deed of sensibility, and a 3rd virtue. To get the high quality HPM organ, we just need to kill the HPM mobs. In order to obtain the deed of sensibility, we need to pop and kill a notorious monster known as 9 DRG. The notorious monster 9 DRG is a lottery pop from the All Aeons. In order to get the 3rd virtue, we need to kill the Jailer of Faith. In order to pop the Jailer of Faith, we need to get a high quality UV organ. I decided a good starting point would be to look for the Jailer of Temperance. While en route, I'm going to be killing the Aeon mobs to try to get their high quality Aeon organs. We are going to need 3 of these to pop a notorious monster later on. Oh my gosh, that was really lucky, the first kill, and we got one of the HQ organs. If you aren't familiar with the zone, some parts of it are locked off by gates. Those gates have to be opened by escorting a quasi-lumen. Sometimes the journeys are quite short, as you'll see in a few seconds. All you have to do is escort it from one room to the room opposite, Sometimes there'll be monsters en route which have to be killed. If the monsters will aggro you, they'll aggro the Quasi-Lumin. Once it reaches its alcove, we need to talk to it and then the gates will open. And we can carry on. I wasn't quite sure of exactly what route I needed to take, so you'll see me stopping to look things up quite often. After all, it's been about a year since I was last in this zone. My plan was wherever possible to outrun the aggro and try to zone it, whether that be using teleporters or just natural zones. It wasn't always possible though. These little alcoves I'm by now, the ones which have the EOZ eyes on them, will be where the Jailer Temperance pops. It'll be a lottery pop up of one of the EOZ eyes which are on those alcoves. I found the gate which won't open from this side, so I'm going to run around to see if I can open it from the other side. Sometimes if you can't open a gate from one side, you can open it from another side, but not always. Okay, here we find out we can't open from this side either. So I'm going to hunt around to see if I can find another way to open it. Probably by means of a Quasi-Lumin. Yep, here we go. Here's the Quasi-Lumin. Now in this case you need to run ahead of it and kill anything which might aggro it. If you can kill quickly, this is a valid way to do this. If not, then you can talk to the Quasi-Lumin to stop it in its tracks while you carry on killing things. For some of the gates we have to wait until the Quasi-Lumin passes by them and then they will open. Still killing the Aeons, looking for 2 more high quality Aeon organs. The reason we need 3 high quality Aeon organs is the notorious monster we're going to pop with them. You can use either 1, 2 or 3 high quality Aeon organs to pop the monster, but if you use 1 you'll get just the notorious monster without any helpers, and this will give you just a 33% chance of the drop occurring that we need as part of the pop set for one of the jailers later on. With 2 high quality Aeon organs you'll get the notorious monster plus 1 assistant, and then you'll also get a raised drop rate of around 66%. With 3 high quality organs you'll get the notorious monster and 2 assistants, but you'll have a drop rate of 100%, so I thought it was worthwhile trying to get all 3. So you won't have to backtrack and do it multiple times. When we do get around to killing the notorious monster, we only have to kill the notorious monster and its helpers will die automatically. That's not always the case for everything, as you'll see later on. Still looking for the Jailer Temperance. I know it's got to be around here somewhere. Well, there are 5 places to check, so it could take a while. Here we go, the Jailer Temperance. You'll notice it has these bars around it. Sometimes it'll have bars, sometimes it'll have rings, and sometimes it'll have nothing. And it will switch between what it has around it. What these do is they indicate the damage type it's vulnerable to. As you can see here, my sword and my club are not doing any damage to it. The dagger did do damage to it, but as soon as I hit it once it changed damage types again. So now I can't do any damage to it, so I'll have to keep switching until I find something which will damage it. Sword's not doing any damage, so nothing up must mean blunt damage, which is club. Again, 1 or 2 hits and it changes to its rings around it. Rings around it means it's vulnerable to slashing damage only, which is in this case a sword. Now you can see we damage it quite nicely. Good, we got the iron sword too, as well as the first virtue. The first virtue, if you can remember back to the chart, is one of the items we need to pop on the tier 2 jailers. If you can't remember back to the chart, I posted a picture of it in my posts on my YouTube channel. Still killing the AN monsters. I believe we now have 2 high quality organs and we're just looking for the 3rd one. Wouldn't it be fun if we could move this quick in the actual game? Although we'd have to have a pretty quick brain to be able to keep up with the fighting, I think. Not to mention lightning fast reactions on the fingers. As you can see, these monsters can re-raise after they've died, so just bear that in mind. Even the notorious monsters can re-raise too. I accidentally stopped this quasi-looming, so it didn't follow me. I think what I'm doing now is looking for the pop for the notorious Aeon monster known as 9 Aeon. Navigating around this place is a bit of a pest. In real time requires a little bit of patience. The quasi-lumens move quite slowly. This quasi-illumin didn't go where I thought it was going to go. But it still opened the gate I needed to get open. Ah, here we go. Finally found this pop spot for the 9 Aeon Notorious Monster, which we can use the 3 high quality Aeon organs to pop. And there we have it, the deed of placidity. Oh, so along with the first virtue, that makes up 2/3 of the pop item we need to pop the Jailer of Oak. The only other thing we now need is a high quality duo organ, which we get here in LTU. We just need to find some Tuebo type mobs, these blue shark type things. Ah, that's lucky, we got it on the first drop again. I'm looking around for the Jailer of Hope's pop spot. Unfortunately, I was in the wrong part of this zone. I was trying to see where it popped using the maps. Like I said, I'm a little bit rusty on this area. I thought this was wrong, but I wasn't 100% sure. And on the maps it looked like it should be in this area. This area is divided into 4 portions. The portion where the jailers are is the bottom half of the map, which is 1 portion, and then the top half of the map is split into 3 other portions. You can't freely move between the portions. You have to enter them via teleports. I'm not sure how I got there originally in the top 3 zones, but I know they tied to Limbus. The bottom zone you originally get to via doing the Chains of Promathia missions. Once you've been there, you do have other options of getting there. As you can see, the zones are split and blocked by these red barriers. It took me a little while to realise I was in the wrong zone, so there was quite a bit of running around, as you can probably see. Well, I thought the quickest way to this would be to point to the Grand Palace of FFXI and then just walk out into the bottom portion of LTU. That then puts us on the right portion of the LTU map for where we need to be. This is a pretty big part of the zone. So even though we're sort of in the right place, we still got quite a bit of running to do to get to where we need to pop the jailer. The reason I'm doing it in this order is I just wanted the items out of my inventory as quickly as I possibly could. It would have made more sense to go and get the other pop items and then come and do all the 3 jailers at the same time. Probably would have been more efficient, but hey. This was an absolutely huge project, much more than I ever anticipated. Originally I had around 10 hours worth of game footage, which I've condensed into an hour and a half, which took some doing as I didn't want to lose any of the content at all. Here we have the first jailer, or rather the second jailer, the jailer of Hope. This is the first of the tier 2 jailers. After this we have 2 more tier 2 jailers to go. Before we have the necessary items to kill, or rather spawn, Absolute Virtue. Ah good, it looks like we got a second Aeon 2 weapon, the Aeon Axe 2. Okay, we're back inside the Grand Palace of FFXI now, looking for oh yeah, I know what I'm doing here. I'm farming 12 GRM chips. This part alone took me 3 days. Not entire days of course, just probably the longest part of this entire thing I think. I just didn't seem to want to drop it all. But we need them to pop the Jailer of Fortitude, which is a tier 1 jailer. I'm going to try and count them as they drop. Seem to get a lot of other junk like Lumion chips and things like that. Under normal circumstances that wouldn't be a bad thing, because once you get so far through the change of Promathia missions, you can actually turn them in to get some pretty decent items. Those items are very powerful, belts and neck pieces, but they require quite a few different organs and chips and things like that. Okay, there's one Graham chip. I think on the first day doing this, that was the only chip which I got. Which didn't fill me with much hope, I must admit. Well, I guess that's the nature of the game sometimes. Okay, we're on day 2 now. There's a second Graham chip. What I'm currently doing is just looking up to make sure I'm in the best place possible for the Graham chip drops, because I was getting a little bit concerned that they weren't dropping very often. I'm pretty sure they used to drop a lot more frequently than this, but I could be mistaken. Okay, that makes 3, I believe. what we're doing here is just passing from one side to the next. I think this is where I finally realised this was probably the best route to take, was just to run from the west side through to the east side. There's number 4. Number 5. I believe that makes 6. There's number 7. Just 5 more to go, but even though I kept trying, I didn't get any more on day 2. I got the last 5 on day 3, which you'll see shortly. I don't know why this place keeps changing colour. I think it's a little bit like Fayen, probably changes colour with what day of the week it is, or maybe the time of day or something. I'm not really sure. Oh, okay, this is day 3 now, my apologies. I can tell by the sudden change. That makes 8 raw M chips. Just 4 more to go. Nine. 10. 2 more to go. Almost there. Oh, there's number 11. Just 1 more to go. Gosh, those last 3 came pretty quick. I remember running around here at a level 75 black mage and red mage. before trustworthy thing, and the level cap was level 75. Some of the AA notorious monsters, besides dropping... Oh, finally, the last Grow M chip. When we get out of here. Anyway, as I was saying, some of the AA notorious monsters, besides dropping the deeds we need for the Absolute Virtue pops, also drop things called vices, which can be used to get some nice back pieces with. Well, they used to be nice at level 75 cap. Selling them back at level 75 was quite a challenge, I can tell you. But it was doable. Now what we're going to do. Okay, we know in the Garden of Rumet, which is where we need to be for the rest of the time to get the rest of the pop sets with the tier 2 jailers. This zone has 3 layers to it: a bottom, a middle and a top. On this bottom layer, I'm running around looking for a few question marks, which are where the jailer of fortitude and some more of the 9 A and NMs are, I think. The 9 A and NMs pop in the 4 corner rooms where the AUs are. I actually didn't realise that the pop locations are behind the particle gates. I thought they were in the corner rooms for the jailer of fortitude, because that's what it looked like on the maps I was looking at. Again, there's 5 towers, it could be in either one of the 5 towers. Okay, I believe I've now checked 3 towers and it's not in any of these. So just keep on working my way around the zone until I do find it. Not exactly the most fun thing to do, I can tell you, but it's a means to an end, I guess. Looks like I found it. It's only the second time I've ever fought this notorious monster and I've got no idea what would work and won't work against it. Looks like physical damage is extremely weak. If I'd realised that at the start of the fight, I would have switched to dagger for faster attacks so I could do more end spell damage. And probably would have used some nukes, but not to worry. I'll try killing each side just in case that lowered its defences. But it didn't. Judging by the fact he's got a sword and shield, I'm guessing it must be a paladin type of monster, which is probably why physical damage is really weak against it. It is a cool looking monster though, I must admit. The cool thing about end spell damage is it just used a paladin 2-hour invincible, and while that stops all physical damage from dealing any damage at all, it does not stop end spells from landing, or any other magical damage for that matter. Okay, managed to get the second virtue. These virtues are all a 100% drop rate, just in case you were wondering, which is nice because the amount of work we had to do just to pop that thing was phenomenal. Now I'm running around, what I'm looking for is a question mark in the middle of one of these rooms which has a 3A urns, and it's like the room I'm in now. When I find the right room right in the middle where the urns are will be the question mark. And then what we have to do is to kill the A urns until we see a message saying that we've been enveloped in sheer animosity. And then we can check the question mark and pop another 9 A urn notorious monster. This bit again took over 2 hours. According to the wiki pages, the question mark moves every 30 minutes. But in the first room I was in, it was there for an hour. Now whether the wiki's wrong or whether it moved and repopped in the exact same location, I don't quite know. As you can tell, these A-urns re-raise quite often, so you'll see them again back up from the dead. You can see the message we get on the screen. If we check the question mark before we've got the message saying that we've been enveloped in sheer animosity, it just says you sent some unknown presence. I was running around looking for other hay-urns to kill, just in case it was based off the total number killed, like some sort of strange hate system, I don't know. But a little while afterwards I read on the wiki that it's just the hay-urn mobs which are inside the room where the question mark is, and not any of the others. But I'm not entirely sure on that one. Can but try. The problem with this part of the journey was the rooms with the 3 A-urns in them. It was taking around about 2 to 3 mates tops to kill them all, depending on how often they re-raised. And then there's around a 15 to 16 mate wait for them to reappear. At that point, once I realised that was what was going to happen, I did a lot of stop and start on the recordings so as people wouldn't have to just watch me standing around for 15, 16 minutes at a time. I was also trying to cook my dinner at the same time, and as such I forgot to press the record button. As luck would have it, on the time that I actually got the message to say that we were enveloped in sheer animosity. But it happens. I did, however, get the record button in time for you to still see it in the log window. Here I decided to just try to do a miniature fashion show, I guess, just having a look at my equipment and just trying to do a little catwalk and stuff like that while I was waiting for the monsters to appear, I think anyway. I do really like this outfit and this shield. The design on the shield is phenomenal. Oh, so pretty. I think this outfit came from the Starlight Celebration event, which I think is coming up in around about a week's time, maybe 2 weeks' time. There are 5 pieces to it. And it's really detailed too. Yeah, I do really like this outfit. on the chart I made and in the presentation near the start of the video, you'll notice that all the notorious AN monsters have 3 letters after the name. I believe one is MNK for monk, one is DRJ for dragoon, and one is DRK for dark knight. I believe they are just the designations that somebody on the wiki pages gave them based off what jobs they are. They don't actually have those names when you party them, they just all have the same name, which is 9 Ahern, which isn't a particularly clever design on SE's part, I think. As you can see on the screen now, we became enveloped in sheer animosity. And here is the notorious monster we've been trying to get for the last couple of hours. It has 2 helpers with it. Unlike the last one, these helpers do have to be killed. And the nice thing about this notorious monster is, even though it took a long time to pop it, it does have a 100% drop rate. You might not always get the desired item off the first kill, but as you'll notice in a minute, it will re-raise, and it will keep on re-raising until it drops the item, and then it won't re-raise anymore. I think that's the second time we've killed it. It hasn't dropped its item, so it comes getting up again. Imagine doing this back at level 75 cap. Yeah, just as you killed it twice and probably running short on resources, he decided to get back up and come again. It must have been a right pain. To be fair, I think I might have even sold this one at 75 cap. Although I can't remember exactly which ones I did or didn't sell them. Okay, there we go, we've got the deed of moderation. I think the only thing left to do up here is to find another 9A in Notorious Monster and the Jailer of Faith. This room has these pots in them. The door will only open when the pots are all on the pedestals. So you can either try to avoid being seen by them, or you can just kill and wait for them to repop. While I'm waiting for them to repop, I decide to have a close-up look at what clothes I'm wearing again and try to get a good look at the sword. I really like the look of this sword. It's called a Vampiric or something like that. It's the sword that Theodore uses. And to be fair, in its own right, it's quite a nice sword. Although I am just using it as a lock style piece. Yeah, just look at the design on that sword, isn't that a beautiful sword? Well, what a piece of a nice big red ruby on the top of it. Although I could be wrong on the jewel, that's just what it looks like. These last two notorious monsters we need from this zone are up on the very top level. The Aeon one is just a straight up lottery pop off the normal Aeons in the four corner rooms. Although Wiki says it can only pop once they're all dead. Now whether that means all in one room or all in the entire zone, I'm not quite sure. I won't be surprised if it was all in the entire zone as we dig 8 in the last room. Killing this notorious monster will give us the last deed that we need. I believe this is the last room of Aeons. I do really like the look of the monsters. Oh, here we go. Here's the last 9A initial response that we need. And there we have the last deed that we need, the deed of sensibility. Now the only thing left to do in the garden roomette is to farm up a high quality UV organ so that we can pop the jailer of faith, and that should give us the last item that we need to be able to go and pop the last two tier 2 jailers back in LTU. I have no idea how to pronounce these names, by the way, but I'm trying. Perhaps it wasn't in where I thought it was. Seeing as I was walked out, it must be back near the start somewhere. I thought it might have been on the 3rd floor, but it looks like it's either on the 1st or the 2nd. If I knew that, we could have been farming this item earlier on and maybe made the run a little more efficient. But when you don't have any direct references and you're just going backwards and forwards between different pages to look things up, this is unfortunately the result. Running around, going over old ground. Yeah, it must pop on this 1st floor. I wish I'd known that sooner. Looking back, kind of wish I'd made me chart sooner too. Maybe that way I might have been a little more aware of exactly what needed to be done and could have been done together rather than backtracking, but not to worry, what's done is done. At least I'll have some reference if I ever need to do this again in the future. Which, in one way, I'm kind of hoping that I don't. But one never knows. Square Enix might always add like a tier 3 rating and weapons to get, I don't really know. Or something else might be totally different, who knows. There we go, the high quality UV organ. Now we just need to find out where the jailer pops. I don't think it's far away, as luck would have it. I could have used a weapon skill to get killed quicker, or I'm summoning thief, so I'm trying to get some treasure onto to try to make sure I get the weapons I'm looking for, and as you can see I managed to get the Iron Staff 2 along with the third virtue from this notorious monster, which I believe gives me almost everything I need to pop the last two jailers back in LTU. The only things we need are the two high quality organs, the first being a high quality HP Emder organ and the second being a high quality zombie organ. These HP Emder mobs are quite cool, by the way. These big pink things I'm fighting now, they'll pop out of the sea and follow you around for a bit. You think they're going to attack you, but they won't. They just follow you around and then disappear again. Ah, there's the high quality zombie organ. Now we can go and find where the pop location for the Jailer of Justice is. And that will give us our second item needed for the Jailer of Love. I believe we already have the fifth virtue, so we're now looking for the fourth and sixth virtues from these two last tier 2 Jailer Notorious monsters. Looks like we found where the Jailer of Justice pops. I don't think this Jailer has anything too much to worry about in terms of awkward mechanics. Now we have the fourth virtue. So now we just need to find a high quality HP Emder organ, and then we can pop the Jailer of Prudence to get the sixth virtue, and then we'll have the fourth, fifth and sixth virtues that we need to pop the Jailer of Love. And once the Jailer of Love has been defeated, Absolute Virtue will pop, and it will pop claim to us. So if you ever do this, make sure you're going to be at full health when the Jailer of Love dies. Well, I don't mean full health, but you know, enough health to be able to handle what's coming next. Make no mistake, even at level 99, Absolute Virtue isn't a walk in the park, as you might see shortly. It is for me, but I think it depends a lot on the job. unfortunately I have to traverse right the way across to the other side of the map. Trying to outrun aggro wherever possible. And kill it where it wasn't possible. I think in this zone, as long as you've got some movement speed gear, you can outrun everything except for the sharks. I think they'll still keep up with you. Looks like we found where the Jailer of Prudence pops. Now this Jailer does have some strange mechanics, which I'll explain while we're fighting it. And I'll explain how to bypass those mechanics. Which I kinda hoped I had realised before I started fighting it. Well, like I say, it's been about a year since I last did any of this, so I forgot a lot of the things. Now, as you can see, the Jailer of Prudence is actually 2 HP handy monsters, and they're both thieves. As you can see, they use a Thief 2 output up, and I think the original design was when they use perfect dodge, which means nothing physical is going to hit them at all, which means end spells aren't going to work. Well, I think the original idea was you fight one until it uses perfect dodge, then you switch and start fighting the other one until it uses it and keep switching backwards and forwards like that. But as you'll soon see, after I realised it was going to keep using perfect dodge over and over and over, I gave up trying to kill it with any kind of physical damage and just switched to my club and started to nuke them down with tier 2 nukes. The first few spells I was just testing to see which ones would work the best. In the end I decided to settle for Thunder 2. Like I say, I kind of wished I'd realised that at the start of the fight. It would have been a lot more efficient. You can see how much faster it is once you start nuking. And we got another AN2 weapon, the AN Dagger 2 this time, along with the 6th Virtue. So the only thing left to do now is the thing we've all been working towards and waiting on. The Jailer of Love, followed by Absolute Virtue. I hope you've enjoyed the video this far. I'd like to give a big thank you out to the guy you just saw standing there, Truxton. He was out here killing the Absolute Virtue a few times over, and he allowed me to have one of the pop windows while he waited by patiently. Also, sorry for almost getting you killed. This is the Jailer of Love. It's not the prettiest of monsters, I must admit. It's a giant Yovri. If you want to see one high quality if you want to see what a high level version of this Notorious Monster looks like, look up through my videos for a video titled Warder of Love. It doesn't go perfectly, but if you stick with it to the end, I'm sure you'll be more than happy with the results. I really don't like how these eye things come out and attack you. It's just creepy. I also don't know why it's called the Jail of Love, when all he wants to do is try to murder you. Ah, finally, Absolute Virtue. Isn't this a splendid looking Notorious Monster in all its glory? There is also a high level version of Absolute Virtue. I believe it's a level 150 Notorious Monster. Maybe one day I'll try and solo beat one. I won't hold your breath. Ironically, I do think I have all the items I need to pop it though. As you can see, this bit we took a tiny bit of damage, and I believe that's what almost got Truxton killed. I believe this must be area of effect into even it's people who aren't in the party. Fortunately, being on Red Mage, we have a lot of innate magical protection, whereas other melee jobs, they don't get that. The other thing you'll notice in the log window is we got a sheet of how to tunes key item. Now I already had that from last time around, which was the main reason I wanted to do this event the last time around. And what that does is if you go on orchestration in your mug house. It opens up some songs for you to play on it from in the game. We also got the last of the Aeon 2 weapons, the Aeon Spear 2, so we managed to get all 5 of those on a single run, which is great. If you've watched this far, I hope you enjoyed the video, and thank you for watching.